Sometimes the stories we can't tell out loud find their way through us anyway, in a melody, in a scene, or on the page. Now, listeners, welcome to the Mindful Journey podcast with your host, Sana. And today's conversation is about that mysterious process where pain becomes art and art becomes healing. My guest took one of the most difficult chapters of her life, a love that nearly erased her, and transformed it into a song, then a screenplay, and finally into a beautiful novel that gave her the courage to speak her truth. And this isn't just about the creative expression, it is about survival, reclamation, and the alchemy of turning silence into voice. So, if you have ever stayed too long, loved too hard, or struggled to reclaim yourself, this is your invitation to listen in. And listeners, meet my incredible guest, Nikki Allen. Nikki, welcome to the show, and I'm really, really honored to have you here with us.
Thank you so much, Sana, for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely, Nikki. Um, I mean, it must have been a very uh, tumultuous journey for you. I mean, your story, it began as a song, then it, kind of moved into a screenplay, and then it also became a book. I mean, what
Yes.
changed for you in each stage of that creative journey? Was it something that you intended to do, or it just happened with the flow?
It really honestly just happened with the flow. I was actually in an abusive relationship. And once I got out, um, I started writing this song. And so I was working on my first album at the time. So, of course, the song, I think is actually the last song on the album. It wasn't even a big deal, but it was just a release for me. Um, but then I just I'm also in the film industry, so I'm like, that would be a good screenplay to turn this song into a screenplay." So, just kinda and I could see the actors, and I
Yeah.
am because it's my story. But then, honestly, I had an opportunity with, Balboa, which is a
Mm,
division at Hay House Publishing. Yeah, they called me and asked me if I had a book.
okay.
And I already have a book out, it's not a novel, but I'm like, "I wanna do something big," so I was like, "Yeah, I can turn my screenplay into a book," and so that's really how the book part came to light, and so it was a little difficult, though, because in writing a novel writing books, period, you have to describe so much more, so I had to add so much more, and that also meant reliving some of those emotions. But that is how that came to be.
So yeah, I think you really, really you know, said a very I mean, it's such a sometimes we want to avoid uh going through those moments of reliving the horrors, the trauma, especially, when it comes to an abusive relationship. Sometimes, for the fact that we sometimes don't even remember, it can be places with those memories or some kind of days or dates. Sometimes you don't even remember. I mean, I'm really curious to know, Nikki. Do you think each medium revealed something different about your own healing, or was it more about finding the form that felt safest at the time for you?
Actually, um, I'm kind of a different type of writer. A lot of people, when they go through
Hmm.
pain, they have to write or sing or they have to express it. I am a little different. I have to heal from it first, and then I can discuss it. So, I had already healed from that relationship, and then I told the story in the song, and then I expanded it, in the screenplay. Um, it the point, I guess, for me at this stage in the story is
Mhm.
not to heal anything else from me, but to let other women know, "Hey, it happened to me, and I'm here with you. I want to be that voice. I want to, and I'm also the voice because this is what I hate more than anything is when people judge women that stay too long without understanding why. Because no one chooses to just stay in an abusive relationship. There's so many reasons why. And so I made this story lightly about my relationship because I wanted people to understand, wow, I could see why she stayed, you know. So that's so there was really no more healing at that point. It's just I'm like I'm here for the girls. I'm like I'm standing here, your cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know, and then that and to finally, you know, I guess the biggest part in this story too is to find a way to love yourself because loving yourself is the only way you're gonna get out.
That is so right. That is so right, Nikki. And another thing that you mentioned is, and this is a huge misconception, especially when it comes to um abusive relationships that people say, why are you in that relationship? Just get out of it. I mean, it's not a choice that we are stuck with that relationship. I mean, there are so many dire circumstances now
Mhm.
because the abuser is kind of having a control over
Mhm.
everything that you
Mhm.
say or you own, that you do.
Mhm.
So it's just a really, really such an empowering way to, share your story, your journey, and be like a beacon of hope and light for others, especially all the women out there. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. That was the point, you know, because just like you said, like for me, people know me as this strong person. I've always been a very strong person. You can't tell Nikki what to do, right? So people are shocked that I was in an abusive relationship. How did you, Nikki, get into that? And I can tell you, my mom had just passed away.
Mhm.
I had just moved to LA, so I had no friends, no family, and here was this guy. And he knew, and keep in mind, I'm in my 20s too, so I'm really young.
Mhm.
You know, so I clung to him and, you know, and that was the reason. Who else was I gonna cling to? So that was my story. But I had to heal me to go, okay, this isn't good for me, and then move on. But that's my journey. Who knows like why other people stay? But it's all relative and it's all important why we can't leave. But the bottom line for all of us is something in ourselves that needs to be healed because we allow people to do what they do. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
like it's not, if I would have stopped him the first time, he'd have been like, "Oh, can't get away with that with her," right? But
Mhm.
we allow it. So why are we allowing it? And I think that's where real deep healing comes from. Why are we allowing somebody to mistreat us?
Totally, totally. Um, and um, also, Nikki, um, you some people say we shouldn't turn our trauma into art because it risks keeping us stuck in the past. I mean, have you ever encountered such kind of perspective? And let's say if you do, how would you respond to this?
First of all, thank God I've never heard that.
Okay, that's really good.
I've never heard that. So, okay, whoever said that, wow. Um, art is a release. It really, really is. This is the way,
True.
you know, that's really it in a, I don't have a long answer for that. Art is release. It is a way of expressing yourself. You can express it through dance and you can you know, express it through song. My song, Loved You, Hated You. I was
Mhm.
reliving it and trying to stay in it and woe is me. I'm telling you, this is what happened. And the lyrics are, I loved you, I hated you, and now I'm releasing you. So those are literally the lyrics in the song. So I just had to get to that point and say, hey, yeah, I went through that, but I'm over it. I'm releasing you. But even if I was, you know, there, like I said, there are people that write while they're in pain or they perform whatever it is they do in the pain. Some of
Mhm.
that is the most beautiful art. Let me tell you, my beautiful son wrote he had a terrible breakup. He's in high school. Uh
Okay.
had a terrible breakup with this young woman. And you know, when you're young, you really think this is the person for the rest of your life. And, he started writing music. He's actually a producer, and he's an amazing producer, just FYI. But he wrote this song about this girl while he's in the pain, right? It is the mo out of all his songs, that's still one of my most favorite. They're done, he's over it. But I told him, jokingly, of course, "If you're gonna write songs like this, we need to keep her around to keep you sad," because, I mean, it was so powerful and so beautiful. Of course, that was a joke, y'all. He
Yeah,
was a joke.
of course.
But but he wrote the most beautiful. I'm telling you, it is the most beautiful and incredible song. You can hear his heart in it. You can hear it through the cracks in his voice, just
Mm.
everything. It's a hit song if he would ever release it, but you it art is a release. That was a way for him to get through what he was going through, and now when he writes songs about her, it's kinda middle fingers up, you know?
Ah, right.
But,
Um,
hey, the more hit songs.
yep.
This is where we get creative. This is where we get those good songs. Think of all the good songs, the heartache, the "You're not gonna do this to me anymore." People are writing through the pain. So, I don't know who said that, but yeah, they clearly aren't artistic. I'll say that.
I completely agree with you. And yes, I mean, art is such a beautiful way of expressing those emotions, and you need that emotion to be to be able to put a beautiful
Mhm.
piece of art. Whether it's through music or dance or you know any kind of creation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'll give you this one little piece of nugget before you ask me the next question, but,
Yeah, sure.
I always look at it like this. I don't know if you've ever seen a quilt being made, but
Mm,
you have all the yarn, different colors,
yeah.
and if it's on the backside, it just looks like a bunch of weird colors and
Mm,
yarn
yeah.
everywhere, but
Yes.
when you turn it over is the masterpiece. So it's like that is the art, right? You have to go through the stuff, but when you turn it over, when you release it, look at the masterpiece.
Oh my goodness, Nikki. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. I was just looking at a short on YouTube where
Mhm,
a creator. So she had a very beautiful piece of the yarn work on her handkerchief, and there was one comment, and she like put it on the shot that,
mhm,
oh my goodness, the backside of it is so bad. Does it look
mhm.
like ugly? And she literally she showed the backside of it and then the front.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you told something that recently saw, and
Yeah.
that is such a great good example of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Such a beautiful
Mhm. So
example.
and I think anybody that's working on themselves, that's how
Mhm.
we look.
Yeah,
That's how it
true.
looks, and then hopefully your outside starts to look like the reverse side, but we all know what the inside we had to go through,
True.
so keep going.
Yeah. It's messy, but
Yeah.
sometimes messy also is beautiful.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly.
Ah, superb, superb. Uh, Nikki, um, you have said that this isn't just about bashing an ex, but about what happens when love makes us lose ourselves. And
Mhm.
uh, y- you know, everyone, I don't know about anyone else, but I have also gone through this phase in my early 20s,
Mhm.
totally naive, completely, ruthless and completely
Mhm.
um, unapologetically in love that
Right.
I couldn't make myself sense of what is good or bad for me, and I had to
Mhm.
suffer. I had
Yes.
to suffer, and it kind of put a huge dent on my personal as well as on my professional life.
Mhm.
How did writing fiction help you face that truth without being consumed by it?
I really think it's just my relentless personality, but at
Mm,
the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you this, it's something you will maybe, if you're lucky, you find the guy like, Gabby finds in Loved You, Hated You, my novel, but,
mhm,
I haven't found that guy yet. But, um, You know,
Same.
I yeah, right? I was just in a 6-year relationship. It was not abusive,
Mhm,
but I was probably in it 2 years too long, you see? So
mhm,
it's all still work that we have to do. The difference this time was, first of all, there was no abuse, that was good. Uh,
mhm,
but the part that wouldn't let me go, I had to say, "Now, he's not growing with me," and that was really the
mm,
issue. Growing, he wasn't growing.
mm,
And I honestly, when I look back, it felt like I was just trying to drag him along, like, "Come on, we're going forward, we're moving up," and he's like, "No, I'm good right here." And it's like, "Okay, Nikki, do you wanna stay in this with him?
mhm.
Like this? This is your ceiling. Or you see what's ahead of you and what's to come. Do you really want that?" And I had to choose me,
Mm,
and again, it all goes back to choosing yourself, and I walked away from that relationship. We're still good friends, but I chose
okay.
me. And I didn't shed not one tear because
Mm,
and listen to me, I still love him, and I am still madly in love with him. I really am. But I love me so much more that I can walk away and not cry because I'm doing what I know what's good for me.
totally, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's um, such a mindful approach to it because, uh, in fact, I also had to make that decision in a very hard way. But then I also thought, this is something that will affect me, and maybe I won't, uh, you know, I won't make it justice or justified to kind of force myself into it, and then also kind of force him to be in that relationship with
Mhm.
me. I
Mhm.
think it's a very healthy approach, and I think the healthiest and the best part is that you are still friends with him, you are in love with him, and I
Mhm.
think sometimes we have to make those hard decisions.
Mhm. 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 And let me tell you, it really it took those 2 years. I told you I was in it 2 years too long, but
Yeah, yeah.
it took those 2 years to really just like, "Okay, for real, I'm out." And I think the final for real, and for real, only happened maybe a month ago. And I'm just being honest, where I'm like, "Okay, I'm really, 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 really done." And this time I really, really like, I feel good. And here's what's amazing about that though. Once I actually cut that cord for real,
Mhm.
all kinds of new opportunities, and I'm not talking about love, I'm just talking about opportunities came to play because we don't know energetically what that relationship is blocking. What part of that relationship is keeping us from moving forward in other areas in our lives.
Mm, mm,
So once I just was like, nope, for real. I knew it was for real. And then I'm telling you, stuff started coming at me so fast. And I was like, yeah, because he wouldn't have been able to handle this part of this journey.
mm. That's really, really empowering, Nikki. Um, I think many listening, especially the girls, the women out there, they might recognize themselves here, not when it comes to any dramatic betrayal, but sometimes in those quiet daily moments that we kind of abandon our own voice. So
Mhm.
it's really important to listen to those whispers, those nudges, that inner calling. That maybe this is something that I have to let go.
Yeah, and it's okay to be alone because just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. You
Mm,
spend that time healing and fixing and repairing and looking back in retrospect and what did I do wrong or right or what can I change, what can be better. You spend that time making yourself better because once you do that, you start attracting the good parts of you. Hopefully you're getting rid of the bad parts because 'cause you'll attract that too, but
mhm.
you just keep attracting those things and moving forward, and that is really how I'm living right now is and it when I tell you I've never in my life been this happy,
Wow.
and let me be real, nothing is perfect at all, but I have never been this happy.
That is so good to know, Nikki. That is so good to know. And oh wow. Okay. So Nikki, if our listeners they would like to connect with you and also get to explore your novel, what would be the best way?
They can reach out at nikkiallen.com, that's Nikkiallen.com, and, that's where they can find the book and a bunch of stuff about the book, but there's also a part about the author. If they click that link, it'll take them to my whole world.
Super. Super. I'll make sure to have all the details in the show notes for our listeners. Easy reference. And Nikki, this was such a candid conversation. It was, like just two women, like
Yeah.
sharing their
Yep.
lives.
Having coffee.
Exactly. Exactly. And obviously, what I can take away from this is that creativity, it isn't just about producing something for the world. It's about creating space for ourselves to exist again, to like relive again. So thank you so much, Nikki, for bringing
Thank you.
this out. And thank you. This was
Thank
amazing.
you.
So to all the listeners out there, thank you for being here on the mindful journey. And yeah, our guest showed us how pain can be transmuted into something not just bearable, but beautiful. Until next time, may you keep finding the courage to turn your silence into a story. Thank you.